Anybody who did not catch yesterday's episode and you missed the part about I'm going to be posting, or maybe I should say scheduling, the videos for 8 p.m. Winnipeg time, you might be wondering how come today's video is about 3 hours later than normal. Well, that's because I'm scheduling it for 3 hours later. Okay, let's move on. At this very moment, the sun should be coming up. And it's another cloudy day. I think we've had 3 days in a row like this. A while ago it was raining pretty good outside. But we're not about the weather. I read my comments this morning, and a couple of viewers were mentioning how the time change isn't going to affect them because they didn't start watching the episode until a few hours after it had posted anyway. And for them this is actually going to be better because there will be less rollbacks. Now, yesterday I did cut our episode off around, 2 in the afternoon or something like that, and then I started doing the final edit, and I did come back to the table and I did do a little bit here. Incidentally, I was noticing yesterday I'm missing one of these pieces, and I looked everywhere. I even checked the sprues, and I thought, did I maybe leave it on the sprue? But it would have been right here, and there's nothing. So I don't know what happened to it. Maybe I sucked it up in the vacuum cleaner when I was cleaning up here, but I was pretty careful not to do that. Anyway, it doesn't matter because there are parts for 6 of these guns, and we only need 5, so we're good to go. And I do believe that these little pieces, that in all likelihood, we wouldn't notice if one was missing anyway, because it's going to be so enclosed in this part that we're going to be trying to build today. Oh, and we get to use Andy's photo etch bender. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's quickly roll back, and I'll show you what I did yesterday. Okay, I've put together or glued together the remaining 5 of these. But when I got out our D sheet here, or fret, and I was looking at these, don't know if you can see it, but you can see the holes here. I'll reposition and zoom in a little bit, but I'm just wondering, actually I was wondering, let's put it that way, were these supposed to go through the holes and protrude out the other side? But I've come to the conclusion, no. It's just supposed to give the illusion that they do. And I'll reposition here and show you why I've come to that conclusion. Yeah, a moment ago, let's see if I can grab hold of this. I keep dropping stuff because I'm so scared to squeeze hard on it. And there's another reason too. I'm getting really klutzy lately. Okay, now a moment ago I was trying to poke these 4, you might call them, they look like somebody tried to make a bamboo raft and they tied it together. I mean, that's what I think of when I look at this. Okay, but they wouldn't go through. And so I thought, well, does that mean I've got to sharpen each one of these just a little bit now so that it goes through? And I mean, that would be what all a person could do. And then I realized, well, if you lay this on this part right here, okay, and you envision the thing all folded up, you can see that when this folds up on like this, and this one folds up like this, that this piece is going to be just sort of rattling around in there almost. I mean, it's going to be actually a little bit of play in between the two. Well, not a lot, but there's just no way that these things would protrude out the sides. And of course, this is supposed to represent, the back. I imagine what we will do is bend it so that the detailing will be on the outside. For instance, these things would probably bend the other way so that the detail shows. And also, now I don't know what this part looks like on the other side. Right now, the sticky part is right there. So it's kind of hard to tell, but it could be that the other side there's little or no detail. So this is actually the outside, and the thing is supposed to bend away from us. Makes sense to me anyway. All right, let's get some of these parts. We also need some smaller stuff here. Okay, we are back to today, and this could well be the last rollback that we have for a while. And the reason for that is because of this new time posting change, and I'm posting 3 hours later. It means that I'm able to stay at the model table a little later. In other words, up to the time when I normally start getting tired and don't feel like doing this anymore. So yeah, we just won't be rolling back to yesterday like we just did. Okay, I think I beat that to death too, didn't I? Okay, we missed some of our plastic parts off the sprue here when we were nipping off these 21, 22, and 23s. And that is the F-20. So the F-20 is these guys right here. So let's just get those, and then we'll get our photo etch stuff. Okay, I'm sure you know what's about to happen now, right? Yep, there we go. I just had to slip that macro lens on, didn't I? Okay, let's get these parts cleaned up. Okay, as long as we've got the macro lens on here, I have these trimmed up about as good as I can get them. And maybe what I'll do is I'll take this rubber thing off of Mr. T's poking device here. That way I can point a little bit more accurately. Now, where the sprue had been attached was right there and right here and on the back. And when I did the first one, which is actually this last one here, where the sprue had been attached to this positioning pin right here, I didn't realize that that was a positioning pin. It was just so small, and I accidentally trimmed it off with the cutter here. And I did leave the positioning pins on the other 5, but I don't think that's going to affect anything. I'm making a mountain out of a molehill here, aren't I? Now, these little pieces do not get glued onto these parts here. They get glued onto the photo etch parts that we're going to be making. And I don't think we need a separate tuna fish tin here because we're not going to be getting them mixed up. Okay, so the rest of this is, well, put it in with all those other little parts that we're saving for the pen that I keep talking about that I might turn someday. Alright, now we got to get some little pieces here that are going to be going on here, and they are called photo etch D29s, So is there 3 of them, or what are they anyway? I guess maybe we'll recognize them when we see them. And then of course we need these larger pieces. So let's recompose here. I got to be careful when I'm poking. Some of these pieces that I'm touching and poking down on are very, very fragile. Okay, let's try not to cut anything we're not supposed to here. That one did cut, but it didn't make the little popping sound. That one did. Okay, now we're going to block your light, I'm afraid. Kind of coming at this backwards. Now, that one, for some reason, it was different from all the rest I've done. Another one that didn't pop. No, I'm assuming I'm supposed to cut that off. It was just okay. Now, to get these ones, I want to be coming in at a different angle, so I'm going to have to turn this whole thing around. Trying to get them off without bending them out of shape. They're sticking onto this plastic pretty good. I'm wondering if maybe it's because it's older, or... Alright, we got it. Now it's kind of interesting here for the D29s that we need. We would need a total of 12 pieces if we were going to be making up 6 guns. Everything else, it does appear to be, except for that one piece that I've misplaced, there's enough to make up 6 guns. Like there was 6 of these. There was 3 on the other fret, which I've already got them off. But there's only 10. Now I'm going to put the macro lens on. They're just so tiny. Now, I'm not going to make any promises about are we going to get those in the right place. I usually have really, you might say, bad luck when it comes to trying to glue stuff on that's this small. But we'll try. Okay, now this is just for perspective. I'll just get them loose here with this. Mind you, they are pretty loose. And then I'll get my needle nose tweezers and pick them up. Alright, now if I can do this on the other sheet. Okay, as I suspected, these are smooth on one side and detailed on the other side. And as I mentioned, I think it was yesterday, we're going to want to be bending these so that the textured side, which I'm touching right now with my finger, is going to be out. So that means we're going to put it textured side down because we're going to be wanting to bend it up. Oh, another thing, these are they're sort of octagon shaped. They're not four-sided. They're actually eight-sided, although four of the sides are very, very small. Anyway, let's reposition here and see what we can do. Maybe what I'll do is I'll turn this over the wrong way. Give us an idea of where we have to make our bends. Okay, so now you can see that there's going to be a bend right here. And then about a millimeter to your left, there's another bend. Then you go about probably 3 millimeters, we got a bend. Then a bend. Then there's a bend there, and a bend there. So, alright, it appears that the bends come where there is kind of like a separation, right here and here. So even though we won't be able to see the little detente or the bending place, if you want to call it that. Let's just get this turned over now. So each bend is going to be 45 degrees. Okay, so the first bend the first bend is going to come right there. I think it's probably going to it's going to want to bend there because there's too much material anywhere else, so I don't think it's going to want to bend anywhere else other than right there. Now we want to bend that up at 45 degrees. We're just going to have to eyeball it here. Okay, that would be the first bend. You know what? I think I should have started with the bends here and pulled it out. Alright, that means that if I did that wrong, what can I do to fix that? Let's see. Take it out, turn it around. Okay, so now we go all the way. Oh, we got a problem. We got a problem. Wonder if if I was to go over, can I get between this one and this one? Yeah, it looks like we can just make it here. No, not quite, not quite. All right, here's another plan. Why don't I take something like this and put it underneath here, like that. All right, and we'll use this as the holder downer, if you know what I mean. I don't know if that's going to want to hold down flat or if it's going to want to curl up. Okay, and then what we can do is we can find something else. Like I could probably almost use something like this. I'll find a different knife, but you know what I'm getting at. Then we make our second bend using this thing as the braking bar, or whatever you want to call this. I don't have it quite square, do I? Maybe I should be putting the macro lens on. No, we couldn't get through today without having a pizza segment. And the reason being is because today is Pizza Day. And I think, it's been Pizza Day since way back in February when I started my diet. And, it seems to me that about 3 weeks ago I was talking about going into details about how I did my diet and so on. But I've been thinking there's really not a whole lot I can talk about, other than I counted calories. Just strictly went by calories. I didn't have anything to do with carbohydrates or any of these fad diets or anything like that. I just counted calories and tried to keep it at around 1,000 or less per day. And as of right now, I've lost over 100 pounds. And I'm not going to make my goal weight. I'll make the goal weight, but I won't make it in the time that I had allotted myself. I'm probably not going to get there now until, going on the beginning of December. And then I'll be at my goal weight, which I don't know if I've mentioned it before. It's 170 pounds. That's my goal. And I think this morning I was 183, so I've got 13 pounds to go? I'll tell you how I calculated out the calories. Now let's take, for instance, the All brand buds, which I used as croutons in my salad today. And I've done that quite often. It actually works pretty good. Tastes pretty good too. Now, mind you, when you're hungry, anything tastes good. Probably the spruce snippings might taste good anyway. We're getting silly here, aren't we? Right at the top of the picture, you can see where it says that a serving, or 28 grams, is what all the values below are calculated out by. And so we know that if there's 80 calories in 28 grams, then it's easy to figure out how many calories there is per gram. And I did that with everything. I don't think there's any food that you can't. It's either not on the side of the box, or you can go online and somebody's going to tell you, how many calories there is in a certain weight, and then you just calculate it out. And and when I get up near 1,000 calories, I just stop eating. And sometimes it's pretty hard because you got a real craving for something. Got to stick to it. Now, I have done this before. By before, I mean go on a big diet. And I have lost weight like this probably 5 times in my life. I think this is the 5th major diet I've been on. Now, the hard part with these diets is sticking to it after you've reached your goal. I'm going to really try hard this time. Okay, we have Pizza Day out of the way. And one thing that I was noticing is that when I'm using this as the holder downer, because it is riding up on top of the photo etch, even though the photo etch is very thin, you might say the nose of this thing is not pressing down where I want to make my bend. It's sort of up a little bit. because this edge of the part is acting like a fulcrum. It's just not, well, I'll show you what I'm going to do here. I'm going to just build it up a little bit. I was going to use one thickness of tape, but I think I may as well make 3 here. And another thing that I noticed is that I had made a mistake, and I was saying that this bend here that we made, that was the first bend, but actually it wasn't. The first bend was about 1 millimeter in from the edge. Probably a lot of you noticed that. Anyway, I'm just going to go ahead here and change this. And when was the last time you saw my clock say 4 o'clock or thereabouts? Well, that didn't go on very good. And I wasn't panicking. Okay, well, that's because I don't need to worry about it now. We're not going to be, I'll be starting my upload fairly shortly. Okay. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and do this, and then we'll reposition. I wonder if maybe 2 is enough here. Let's see. The idea is that when I push down here, even though the photo etch is underneath there, this edge right here will press down where we want to make our bend. Maybe I will use the third one and just. Okay, we are now three thicknesses of tape raised up on this end. So this edge is going to be pressing down where we want to make our bend. I know I'm not making a whole lot of sense here, but I kind of know what I'm getting at. Okay, now when we put this in here like this and swing it around, now when this breaker bar, or the nose of the breaker bar, pushes down on here, it's going to be pushing in on the photo etch piece right where we want to make the break. Not, in other words, oh my goodness, I can't describe this. Why can't I describe this? Okay. So in other words, when we clamp this down, it's going to bind right on the, oh, for goodness sakes. Okay, now that's not where we want to make the bend right now, but I mean, you get the idea that the photo etch piece now is being fastened in there right here, not back here. Okay? I think that's what I was trying to say. All right, now let's see if we can make a break right here. So we're going to take this out. Now, maybe I'm zoomed in too close right now. Okay, we'll get this underneath here. I have to lift this up. Now, tuck this underneath like that, there. Whoops. Alright, now if I clamp this down, just let them look straight down on it so it gets straight. Whoops. Okay, now if I clamp Andy's bender down, the bender is holding it down so that the pressure point is right there. Now it's not 100% straight here. Whoops. Oh, I keep bumping it. Alright, wonder if I could shove this whole thing in a little further yet. Loosen it here. Go in a bit. No, that's as in as I can go. Alright, now we take something really thin and lift this up at 45 degrees, like this. Maybe this isn't the best thing, is it? There we go. Alright. Okay, so we got this bent now. Okay, so the next bend has to be right here where the blade is. Okay, I'm gonna use this to shove underneath instead of the number 11 blade. Now, okay, I've turned it around 180 degrees. I have to go just a little bit more. Okay, I'll clamp this down. How does that look? Maybe I went in too far. Okay, I think that's right in the exact right spot. Now we should be able to come in like this. If we go up 45 degrees, all right, we'll take it out and go to the next one, which is only about 1 millimeter further in, like that, right there. Let me check the monitor, make sure you can still see it. I think you kind of get the idea what I'm trying to do here. Oops! That's not what I was trying to do. Maybe I didn't have the bender clamped down enough. Or it could be that I've got that tape. Maybe that tape is too wide. See, if I hold it down with my finger, give it a little extra pressure where it needs to be. See, remember, I'm trying to make an octagon-shaped piece out of this. Does that look about 45 degrees? Maybe a little bit more yet, right? Okay, now we have to make a bend right there. Whoa, this isn't going to work. This is not going to work because this part and this part are going to be underneath this thing. I wonder if maybe using just tweezers, because we have to make a bend right here, and then a bend just 1 millimeter to your right of that. No, this second bend we can make using this system. You know, just I can almost do it with just holding it down with my fingers there. But I don't think that's a good idea. I think I'm better off coming in with the Tamiya bending plier. Yeah, I'm going to reposition here. Okay, I got the nose of the bending plier pretty much at the right spot, and I think if I'm watching in the monitor right now, so I'm okay. We'll get that one at 45 degrees. I probably pulled it out of your field of view there. I'm sorry about that. Now the last bend will bring this longer piece up to this piece right here. Okay. Okay, you should be able to see there where the break has to be. I can see it on the monitor there. I hope you can see it too. And if I was to, I'm just going to push it with my finger here, although maybe, wait a minute, let me just try this. Oh, it moved on me, it twisted on me here. I guess I wasn't holding tight enough with the plier. Okay, I'm just trying to roll it over. Okay, what do we got here now? Well, I think with a little tweaking, and to think I gotta make 5 of these? Okay, I don't think it would matter which one of these ends we were to fold up. I've decided that what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the other ones off camera, because it's too hard to do on camera. But the idea is that the end here will fold up. Okay. And we're going to be forming like a box. And then the idea is that those pieces that look like bamboo rafts, they get put in there, and I'm going to be doing that off camera, folks. Thanks for watching, everybody. And all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.